Hey there, everyone. Wanted to give a March 10th spring training baseball algorithm update. I did update this morning to get lineups and odds in here that we actually do have odds on spring training games. There's a lot of work though to get this thing accurate, and it's just due to how many new players are trying out for different teams over the spring training here and players that have moved teams. So it's going to be really difficult until we kind of get everybody in here, and I'll explain that process. So even though we have projections for these games and some of them might win, some of them might be good, we have a problem with our lineup factor, and I want to explain what's going on with our lineup factor. So when you're updating this file every day, if you want to buy a copy and update this thing every day, you paste the lineups from RotoWire right here. And we're talking about the lineups that come from this page, the fantasy sports MLB lineups, daily lineups page. And they lay everything out for you. As you can see, we don't have anybody set up for a potential lineup for the White Sox or Milwaukee yet. They just don't know. There's no teams down here. So that's one of the reasons why it's not filled in, is we don't have all those players. And it's why it makes it really, really difficult here, especially early in spring training, to get a full roster. But we do have players that we need to add. And these are the list of players that we need to add. So one of the quick ways that you can prune out everybody you need is, so we have a team, a pitcher, a roster name, and we have this match check thing. And the match check thing in column S there that's showing up as pink, those are errors when we don't have the person in the list. So we're going to actually create a brand new sheet because there are so many of them. We're just going to paste them right here. And there's some things we care about and some things we don't care about. We do not care about the pitcher for the game. We don't care about that. We just care about the team, and we care about whether or not they have an error right here. So we're going to put some filters on. Now that works too. We're going to get rid of all of our errors, or really show all of our errors and get rid of all the players that are actually already in the list. So all these players that have numbers next to them are players that are already in our database. These are players that are not in our database. And these are the ones that we're going to have to add. We're going to have to add them to our matrix sheet right here. So they go in certain spots. Basically, you have the actual abbreviated or name that RotoWire is providing for us. That goes right here in column G. This is the lineup name. Basically, the RotoWire lineup name is what this is. Okay. So we've just added all those players and their abbreviated names. Those players also have teams that they are on, which we grabbed right here. So let's bring those teams down and put those teams right here. And here's where it gets a little complicated. So sometimes this name that appears right here is a full name, and it's probably the full name that's located in RotoWire. Other times it's an abbreviated name, and it's not the full name that's going to be showing up in RotoWire. So that's what makes this difficult. Like, these names are probably fine, and we can use those names as the RotoWire name. Is LI Tally the actual name that's in RotoWire for that person? Let's see. Nope. See, it's not. It's actually going to be a different name. No Tally in here? Who is that player? Where'd that player come from? Let's find that player. Tally. This guy. So this is his name. He just doesn't have any stats. So this is the name, actually. So this is the process, is kind of going through and making sure that we know, like, who is this O Martinez? Is it in Orlando? Is it in Omar? Is it, what is, in order to find it, sometimes you have to click and hover over the name right here. It's Orelvius. No, Orelvis. Orelvis. It's a tough one. And, these are players that have just gotten drafted sometimes, get a lot of issues. So going through all these player names and getting them all in here is going to get rid of the errors that show up on the lineup sheet. You can see the errors are already disappearing. Some of them are. Some of them aren't. As soon as we add the name in, it's going to get rid of that error. And it's going to be helpful. So that's a lot of work that still has to be done. And it's also not really providing what we need yet, because as you can see, when you look at the lineup sheet, this number right here shows their contribution score. Almost all these guys are probably minor leaguers trying out, and they don't have any 2022 stats. So our lineup factors are going to be a mess. We could add AAA stats in there, but I'm just not going to do that for spring training. That's just too much work to do. So we'll just keep updating this, and we'll start to see how this lineup sheet forms every day, because otherwise we're just going to have predictions that are really, really bad for spring training. But it's spring training. I mean, what can you do? But we will continue to compile this, because every day that list is going to get a little bit shorter that we have to update with all of these names. And so like that's the real crux of updating this every day. It has to do with updating rosters, lineups, pitchers, and pitcher stats. I've added some pitchers that had no stats yet, and I just gave them fake stats, and I called them fake. You can see on the sheet, it said fake, meaning these are not that person's accurate stats. I just threw something in there to get this thing to not have errors. So this thing is not ready for prime time yet, even for spring training, as you can tell, but we're still creating it. So I just want to give everybody an update. If you want a copy and you kind of understand what I'm doing here through the tutorial videos on how to update this, you can start updating it yourself and get ahead of me a little bit, because there's only so much time we'll be able to put into this here during spring training, when we're not going to have accurate lineup stats anyway for all these new guys. But later in spring training, you're going to see more of the regulars are going to come out and play, and these lineup factors are going to start filling themselves in more. But is there anything to do today with all these fake stats? You can see we have an actual pick rank that pops up. It says San Francisco over Colorado, 9-1. That's what it says, with Alex Wood going against Connor Siebold. All right, so there you go. NBA, sorry, not NBA. It's MLB, or did NBA, or did NCAA, man, or did NHL. Not doing them again today. All right, good luck, everybody. May all your picks win. You can buy copies of this stuff on KenBraverman.com. All right, good luck. Enjoy your baseball.